Hi guys, so today I wanted to talk about dating outside of your race. Like, is it easier to date outside your race? Like, I'm seeing like this whole black wife effect thing going around, and I would just say no, it's not easier dating outside of your race if the person that you want to date is like uneducated, or they're like like they're closed-minded. Because even though I'm very introverted now, when I was younger, I was very I was like a social gypsy, and I had friends from a lot of different places and a lot of different cultures. So I've experienced like Turkish culture, Asian culture, interracial like people, in terms of like going to a friend's house where like their mom is black and their dad is white, or their dad's white and their mom's black or whatnot. I've actually been friends with people from different cultures, been in their houses, seen how they live. And so and I've also dated different cultures. Also, I find that like every culture is actually attracted to me. So but one thing I have realized about other cultures is that like if they have like an opinion of what you're going to be like as a black person, it can be quite hard to, I would say, maintain a like loving relationship, because it's either that you have to suffer from like discrimination from their family, or their circle of friends or whatnot, or they may actually be quite racist, and the only reason that they kind of want to date you is because they think that you're exotic. And it's more like, because I find a lot of people that when that want to deal with you that are outside your race, they almost see like black girls as like a trophy. It's almost like, oh my god, look at the black girl I'm dating, like look at me, like look at the, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. It's kind of like, you like to think that people like are not racist, or they're not closed-minded, or they don't have like an opinion of black people based on the television. Like with me, I can speak about different cultures because I've actually experienced them. I don't base my opinion based on like videos and TikTok and shit like that. Like in real life, I've had friends or like in workplaces where I've actually experienced that person's culture. I've also learned languages from, like, every time I'd make a friend that spoke a different language, I would always try to learn a sentence or like a greeting in their native tongue, because I'm actually intrigued by other culture. I feel like a lot of people, they just like see other cultures as like like as a fetish, if you will. And so they're not actually interested in like trying to like get to know you as a person, your background. It's more like, oh, you look exotic, so yeah. And then I can tell all my friends that, oh yeah, I'm dating a black girl or I'm dating a black guy. I feel like a lot of people that actually get together is based on attraction, but not actually respect. And I would say that because I know that a lot of people, like, there's like this stigma going around with like dark-skinned men, and saying that how dark-skinned men ain't shit and this, that, and the third. It's not that dark-skinned or black men ain't shit. It's just that when it comes to black people, we are targeted and televised. So anything a black person does is going to be put in the media as something negative. Other cultures are just as bad. It's just that they stick together, and they're not being targeted and tried to and not being displayed as like they're not being exposed, if you will. Let's just say, put it like that. And because I've spoken and been around different cultures, I know that other cultures ain't shit when it comes to relationships. I know that in the Indian culture, a lot of it is abusive. It's like, the arranged marriages, and they go through a lot of abuse, and it's just that they're married, and they're in a unit. So like outside looking in, it's like, oh, they're married, they're happy. Like, not really. A lot of the Indian culture, they're actually fucking miserable. I remember I used to work with this Indian girl, and she told me that she escaped from an arranged marriage because she got with this person, and the first night he was trying to beat her and force himself upon her, and she disowned her culture, and she said that she only dates white guys. Like, she's disgusted by Asian men. She saw all her parents go through, and she was like, this is not the culture that I want to be in. So like, because, and Turkish men, Kurdish men, cheat and lie the same way do you know how much guys who have been married, who have been like, you know, Turkish or Kurdish or whatnot, and they be trying to talk to me, and I'm like, you got like a wife and kids at home, and you're trying to talk to a black girl, but then when you're at home with your Turkish people, you're probably cussing black people. I've dated a Greek guy, like even with the abuse, the first man to put his hands on me was a Greek man. I was abused by a Greek guy. And then my second abusive relationship, he was black. Background was Congolese. So I would say that, like, it's not, when it comes to dating outside of your race, it doesn't, when it comes to men, it's either like, you know, no matter what color you are, if you ain't shit, you ain't shit, basically. Like, you know, there are some cultures that are more conditioned to like marrying you and putting, like, you know, creating that kind of secure unit, which I think is what a lot of women want. But then once you are in that unit, it's like I had this white guy that literally wanted to marry me like not too long ago. He wanted me to come to like America, like he came over here and everything. And then he wanted me to like come back with him and this, that, and the third. But he was given heavy serial killer vibes. He was very sadistic. I'm not even going to go through all of the things that I noticed about him, but I just knew, like, if I went back with him, I would not come back. I just don't think I'd come back alive. And he was actually extraordinarily prejudiced and racist, but he was trying to mask it, but he couldn't mask it when he was around me. Like, he was so angry about different cultures being together, things that he'd see on the TV, but he kept saying to me, like, oh, you know, I'm so different, I'm attracted to different, you know, I don't like what everybody else likes. But really, he had some type of fetish, because when I got to know him, he actually admitted, like, he doesn't hang around with people that are from different places, and he lives in like a town that's mainly white people. So I thought, okay, so you're not into other cultures, then you're not this, that, and the third. And he was actually really racist, and I was like, how do you expect us to be together when you don't, you know, you don't fuck with black people like that, and you're not willing to get to know my culture? Because like when I was putting certain things on, he was like mocking it. He thought it was funny. Like there was this one scene, I was watching a film with him, and this black guy was getting raped by like a gorilla or a monkey, and I was so disgusted. He sat down and he was laughing so much. He thought it was like so fucking funny. And then he saw my face, and then when he saw my face, he changed his attitude, and he was like, this is not my kind of comedy. And I was like, I just watched you for about 10 minutes, like pissing yourself with laughter. Like anytime there was anything that was like, portrayed black people in like a negative way or being abused, he would like smile and laugh at it. But whenever there was like a white joke or whatnot, he'd get like really angry, and he just wasn't, I'm telling you, he wasn't right in the head. Like I said, I'm not even gonna like put him on blast like that, but there was just a lot of things that I noticed about him, and he was very sadistic. And I was saying to myself, do you know what, this man ain't right in the brain cells, okay? But I kind of felt like he just wanted a trophy girlfriend, or he just wanted like to because at one point he said to me something like, oh, you know, he was talking about his family, like if he brought a black girl back home to his family, and he was just like, you know, it sounded like he wanted to kind of rub it in his family's face, like, you know, yeah, it would wind my brother up and my sister would be like this. And I'm just like, you know what I mean? So I just and you know how American white people are, and like British white people, they're both racist, but American white people, they're like on a different scale of, you know what I mean? So like if they're racist, they're on a different scale of racism. So very dangerous is basically what I'm saying. So, but then again, I've experienced different cultures when it comes to white Americans, black American people, you know, different types of people. I have experienced them. And whether it's through friendships, you know, casual interactions or relationships. I've been in like Muslim households, Indian households. Like when I was younger, I was like a social gypsy, they used to call me, before I became introverted. And I was always attracted to people outside of my own culture. Like I didn't really hang around. Like I couldn't stand Jamaican girls, if I'm honest with you. Like I didn't like Jamaican girls. Like if I was attracted to people from the Caribbean, it would be like people who weren't from where I was from. I mean, I'm half Jamaican, half St. Lucian, but like I never really used to hang around with the Jamaican girls, because I found that like it was just very competitive when you hang around with people that are from the same place as you. So like I would gravitate towards like the African girls. Like I would love like Eritreans, Somalians, Ghanaians, Nigerians, you know, if I was around black people. and I wasn't religious, but I always found that I was always real close friends with religious people. It's Sikhs, Muslims, like, and like I said, I've been in their households. I've seen how Turkish people operate. I've seen how, Indian, Mauritian people operate. I've seen how Polish people operate. My cousin is half Polish and half St. Lucian. Wild mix, I know. Cześć to anybody who is Polish watching, hello. But it's like, I've experienced different cultures. Like, I'm not one of those people who live vicariously through others and who base their own narrative on what they've seen on the TV. I've actually experienced these people. And so, because I love different cultures, I love learning about different cultures, and I love when people embrace where they're from. But one thing I would say is that, like, a lot of cultures, when it comes to how they view, like, Black people as a whole, they don't actually mix with us. So they have this stigma about us, and then, like, when you're around them, they're like, oh, you don't behave like this, or you don't act like that. Or, like, if I say to people that I'm from St. Lucia, most people don't even know, like, where St. Lucia is. They're like, where are you from? Then they fixate on the Jamaican part, and then they start talking about Bashment and Bob Marley and Vibes Cartel, and I'm just like, I don't eat jerk chicken, I don't listen to Bashment, and you know what I mean, I'm not going around going wagwan. Like, it's just very close-minded, So is it easier to date outside of your race? Well, first of all, I would say that you need to experience other races and get to know their culture, rather than just getting with people based on, like, fetish and attraction. Because like I was saying in one of my other videos, like, if I'm going to date somebody from a different culture, like, I need to make sure that I love their food, because the one thing about when you do see, like, interracial couples and stuff, I always find that sometimes one of the more cultured one has to kind of, like, give up or adopt things from the other person's culture to make them feel more comfortable, and then it comes away from where you're from. And I feel like if I wanted to date someone outside of my race, I would want to embrace their culture. Like, when I was dating the Greek guy, he genuinely had a lot of Black friends, so he liked Black food. So if I cooked something that was, spicy or whatnot, that wasn't a problem for him. I liked Greek food. So you know what I mean? It wasn't like a thing where it was like, okay, well, ew and ew and ew, And when I see a lot of, like, interracial couples, like, when it comes to the white and the Black, I find that, like, when it comes to, like, white women, they hate Black women, but they want to make Black babies. And then, like, they'll have mixed race kids, and then their children's hair will just, do you know how many times I've seen a mixed race child's hair that just, and I'm just like, please, can I braid your child's hair? Like, please, like, that's really what I want to say. Because it's like, they don't get to know the culture. They don't get to know the hair texture, the hair type, what you need to put on their skin. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? People just be fucking and just be getting with each other for the sake of getting with each other. And so I feel like it's important to get to know another person's culture that you are attracted to make sure that you are respectful of that person's culture. You are respectful and you actually like what it is. I mean, you're not going to like every single thing, because at the end of the day, when you're from different places to different people, you're completely different. But, they do say, like, opposites attract. So I just feel like when it comes to dating outside of your race, be open to appreciating where that person is from, and vice versa. Don't, like, abandon your identity to try to fit in with the other person so they would accept you. And also, don't try to get with someone and try to mold them into what you want them to be like. It's like, you have to accept we're from two different places. How are we going to bring this together and merge? But also, don't think that if you date outside of your race that it's going to be any better. A lot of the times it's much worse. And especially if you're with someone who is, like, they do want to marry you, they do want to secure unit. A lot of the times they want to trap you and fucking abuse you. Or have you as some type of trophy. Not in all cases. I'm just talking in, like, the lower vibrational cases, because I see a lot of videos where people are talking about, like, like this whole black wife effect and this, that, and the third. But like I said, I've spoken to lots of different people from different cultures, different races, and I get the truth out of people. And it's not as glamorous as it looks. Okay, it's like, you guys look happy, you got a beautiful family, but then it's like the stepmother and you can't stand each other, because she's just like, what are you doing with that Black bitch? And she's like, well, what are you doing with that cracker? And you know what I mean? It's just, there is a lot of, like, cultural dynamics, like, when you are dating outside of your race, because people are very close-minded. But that's not always the case. But it doesn't, you're not any better or any worse off if you date outside of your race. I feel like it's just about respect. It's about looking at people as people and respecting each other and actually loving each other and not trying to pick each other apart. And I feel like we need to do that more as like a whole, just in general. But you know, we all know that like when it comes to the Black community, we're the ones that hate on each other the most and disrespect each other the most. But that is due to like, you know, slavery and just all of that shit. It's been indoctrinated in the mindset of the Black people. So it doesn't surprise me. But it's like, it's just sad, I would say. And I think as well, just being educated, like, because, you know, a lot of people, when they think about Black people, they just think about slavery. Like, and it's like, there are like Black queens, you know, that stood up to like the Europeans and the Romans and like defeated them and shit that people don't speak about because we don't learn about that shit. So it's like, know thyself, learn positive things and inspirational things about, you know, race and culture, so that, you know, there's no kind of hierarchy, there's no inferior to superior, there's none of that complex in the dynamics of your connection. Because, you know, like I said, I've dated outside of my race, or I've been friends with, I mean, I'm always friends with people outside of my race because I just love people from different places. But when it's on like a romantic spectrum, it's a bit different. You know, and you feel like you have to constantly educate people about you because they don't know about you. They just know what they see on TV or what they see in like the media when it comes to music and shit. And whereas like I could know so much about your culture and you ain't, it's like, oh, how do you know that? How do you know how to speak my language? How do you know this? Because I've actually been around people where you're from and that's why I'm attracted to you, or I've learned about you so that we can have things to talk about, so you can see that I'm interested in you. You haven't tried to learn about me. You don't know where I'm from. Like, and if you do, it's like whatever you've seen or heard on the like, you know what I mean? It's just like, so it's not necessarily better to date outside of your race. I do feel like, you know, people should broaden their options when it comes to dating and be accepting of people. But I think going into different cultures and friendships with like an open mind and not thinking, oh, well, you're Indian, so you act like this. You're Black, so you act like that. You're this. So like, have you actually been around people for you to be able to have some type of opinion of them? Like with me, I have a lot of opinions based on experience and observation, you know, plus what I've seen other people say. Most people, they have opinions, but they have not experienced these people. So it's kind of like, how do you feel like you know more about me when you haven't experienced, like, you know what I mean? Type of thing. So, and that's what I wanted to say in terms of like, when it comes to like men, like, it doesn't matter what color they come in. If a man is a dickhead, a man is a dickhead. And I'm just saying that, like I said, from my experience, like I was abused by a Greek person. So it's not like, oh my God, a white guy is going to treat you better. Like, not necessarily. If anything, they'll treat you even fucking worse and they'll get away with it. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's just, it's not about that. It's just about respect, you know. But, you know, I can't say that without admitting that, like, yes, when it does come to the Black community, there is less respect. You know, our Black men don't seem to really respect us, but then they get mad if we want to date outside of our race. And then when we date outside of our race, the outside race knows that we're not respected by our people, so they can kind of treat us like shit, but they do it in like a professional way, I want to say. It almost seems like that because I always say I see marriage as like a business kind of financial transaction. So it's like, I can professionally abuse you, or I can professionally treat you like shit because, you know, and we'll be happy families outside, but really I'm like locking you in the basement and doing all some types of shit to you, okay? But I'm not saying it is all like that. I'm just talking about the darker side of like interracial or dating outside of your race. It's not what it's cracked up to be in all cases. There are some people where, you know, it works for them and they have beautiful children or a beautiful dynamic, and because they embrace each other's culture and they embrace each other as human beings, and so, you know, that is a beautiful thing. But in my experience, like even dating like mixed race people, you know, it's that complex of like, you can tell that they think that they're better because like they're half white, and then it's like, so then sometimes I'm like, oh, you know, it's because I'm a lighty, and I'm like, yeah, but you want to fuck a browning though. Like, you know what I mean? You know, like, I feel like whenever I've been in like a situation with like someone who's like mixed race or like light skin, it's like I have to feel like I have to humble them at some point, because it's like because the mixed race and the light skin boys, they fucking love me, but it's like, don't get with me but then be trying to like do some type of indirect shit in points of our relationship. And also what I don't like is the whole like, you know, you're pretty for a black girl thing, or being obsessed with like my hair and things about me that kind of take me away from the stereotypical black person. Because I remember when I was dating a mixed race guy, and he kept saying to me like, oh, you know, your hair isn't like most black girls' hair. You don't look like most black girls. It was almost like he was trying to say to me, this is the reason as to why I like you. Like, you're not too dark, you're not too light. You know, you got really beautiful hair. I'm just like, okay, if you're gonna be like one of those, then this is not gonna work out, because now you're just being disrespectful. You know what I mean? It's almost like I picked you because you're not like this, that, and the third, so you're acceptable to me. Like, no, we're not gonna do that. You know what I mean? Because that's not why I picked you. I didn't pick you because I thought, oh, you look better than this, or you're that. Like, I picked you because I liked your mentality, and because also you're attractive. But when I was younger, I never used to date for looks. Like, that person in particular, he was the finest out of all my exes, I can admit. He was the definition of a sexy nerd. Woo! I can't even lie, people. He was fine as fuck. But I never really used to go for pretty boys. I always used to go through the mind. So none of my exes look the same. They don't look the same. They're not from the same places, background. So I've experienced different people, like I said, through friendships and relationships. And all I'm going to say is, like, if someone is a dickhead, it doesn't matter what color they come in, they're a dickhead, okay? So just find yourself someone who loves and appreciates you, and appreciates where you're from, and doesn't have this type of, like, I don't know, like this mentality where they're like going to try to put you down because they kind of feel like technically they're better than you, or, you know what I mean? It's just like, no, bitch, you worship me, period. Like, every culture is attracted to black women. Let me tell you that for a fact. As a black woman that gets harassed by every culture, I can tell you that. Every culture is attracted to black women. Doesn't matter what they want to say to you behind closed doors, or they want to chat shit about you. They want to fuck you, period. And that's how I have felt when I've been in, whether I've been around mixed race, or dated mixed race people, or people who are not black, or been around them. It's like they treat you like you're some kind of like trophy or prize that they want to, like, look at the black one that I have, type of thing. It's really weird, actually. Like, it's very obvious that you're the black one in the relationship, is what I want to say. It's very obvious, like, so yeah. But anyway, that's just kind of what I wanted to say. But, you know, are you in an interracial couple? How is it? Do you date outside of your race? One thing I would say, though, is when you do speak to people outside of your race, like in a romantic sense, I do feel like they are more polite. They're more respectful, but it's normally at the beginning. And I think because I don't like to date or have sex with people, I feel like maybe that's why I haven't necessarily experienced positive things, because I'm like, I don't know. Oh, sorry. Rewind. It's also based on people's conversation, though, because I can tell within the first 5 minutes of speaking to someone if they're attracted to me because they have a black woman fetish, or they actually just attracted to me because they just want to get to know me. So a lot of the times I'll shut things down, because I'll realize that someone is actually like an undercover racist or prejudiced, or they're just closed-minded. And then I think to myself, I don't want to have to educate this person or have to humble them. I just don't want to be in a connection where I feel like it's going to be stressful, or where I feel like it's going to be me against you. It's just like, or I feel like I'm some type of possession that you want to like present to people. You know what I mean? Like, or you want to like get with me to get back at your dad or your mom because you have like daddy or mommy issues. And like, yeah, you know, I've got the black woman. What do you think about that, daddy, mom? Honestly, you're like, hold on a minute. You're dating me because you want to wind up like your family? Okay, wait a minute now. You know. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say today. But I hope you guys have a good day. night, evening, whenever you're watching this. But like, what are your views? I mean, you can let me know in the comments if you want to, but yeah, like, I don't know, man. I just think date whoever you are attracted to, but like I said, when it comes to outside of your race, especially if you want to make babies, make sure that you are like getting to know about like I said, when it comes to the interracial, the mixed race people, like if you're a white woman and you want to have black kids, learn about black hair, please and thank you. Okay, I'm so tired of seeing these little black children, you know, and their hair is all like matted because they've had K-Rose in it for like 5 years, or their mom just doesn't know what to do with their hair. It's just like, learn about the culture, learn about, you know, because you can't just think, oh, because I'm white, my child is going to get my genes and my hair. They may not. I know loads of mixed race people and their hair is thicker and kinkier than mine. You know what I mean? And that's where like a lot of the envy comes from, because it's just like, well, you've got the traditional curly hair and I don't, but I'm half white. Yeah, because, you know, there's no guarantee of how you're going to come out. So this is why all hair textures, all skin tones and everything should be embraced. Like, I don't get the whole light skin, dark skin, brown skin versus thing. I just don't understand all of that. I think it's dumb as fuck, because I look at everybody in a spiritual sense, and I know that the more melanin you have, the closer you are to the ethers. But that's a different conversation for a different day. So I think that all of that shit is dumb as fuck, because I'm not superficial. So I don't get the whole, like, you know, and I think that's another reason as to why for me it's kind of like, when I was younger, like I said, I loved other cultures, but now I'm like, not that I don't like other cultures, I just, when it's about dating outside of someone's race, I know that most people are superficial minded. So then it's kind of like, I have to really think about going into the connection, because it's like, what type of mindset do you have? Because, you know, that is going to be like a huge, you know what I mean, factor in this connection. Do you just want a bit of black pussy? Like, is that what it really is? Do you want to know what my areolas look like? Is that what it is? Or do you actually, you know, want to be with me? Do you think I'm a nice person? Or are you attracted to my power because, you know, dark skin has power in it, the melanin, it's a metal. So what are you attracted to exactly? Like, even the white guy that tried to be with me, he was saying something about my power. Like, he wants my power. That's why he wants to be with me. And then when I brought it up to him, he was like, oh, first he tried to deny saying that. And I was like, bitch. Then he was like, oh, well, I only said that because, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know if you're trying to do some type of experiment on me, but it not gonna work. Like, just no. You know what I mean? You best find somebody else, because it's not gonna happen over here, darling. So yeah, but anyway, that's all I wanted to say. But I just think, where you're from, wherever you're from, embrace your culture. You know, you are beautiful. But when it comes to dating outside of your race, make sure that you are respectful and well educated when it comes to the background of the person that you are attracted to. And respect each other and embrace one another. Otherwise, stick to your own. And I'm just, you know, saying it how I see it. I am open to any person from any place, any race. I really don't give a fuck. I'm more about respect and love and honesty, which these days you can't get. So that's why I like to be single, because it's like, you know, it's just less stress. But like, I would say that when it comes to other cultures, you know, they will, like, outside of being black, they will take you out, you know, and take you on trips and take you out on dates and things like that. They will court you more than I would say a black guy would. So that is a nice thing, because you feel like a princess. You're like, oh my goodness. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the mentality is any better. It just means that they're more smooth with it, or, you know, or they could be a bit intimidated because you're black. You know what I mean? I feel like people who are not black are intimidated by people who are. So they come at you differently. I think that black men are not intimidated by black women. So that's why they come at us differently, because they're not intimidated by us. Yeah. But anyway, that's just that. But like I said, you know, whatever you want to do is your preference. Like I said, I'm open to anything and everyone, but I just don't really want to date in general. But if I was gonna date, it's not like I'm like, oh yeah, black love or interracial love or digital love. It's like whoever I fall in love with is whoever I fall in love with. Are you respectful and are you gonna treat me right? I mean, that's just that's the foundation of the connection, really. Okay, whether you're black, white, or fucking polka dot. But would it be nice to be with a beautiful black man? Of course. But I mean, where they at though, you know? But anyway. And I just found as well, I mean, no, men in general just like to fuck. I was going to say, because black men are very sexual. And I'm not really very a sexual person unless I'm like madly in love with you. So then there's that. So for me personally, I just don't think I'm supposed to be anybody's person. Like, I'm like a proper wifey person though. Like, that's why like people get psychotic after they be with me, because it's like, you know, I be doing all the things that an empress would do for a guy. But disrespect, I just can't deal with. And I feel like that's what a lot of men want. They want to be able to disrespect you and for you to do everything that they want, like you're some kind of slave. And I'm just not with the bullshit. So yeah. But yeah. But I'm like fine being single and happy. Like I'm always my happiest, and I feel like I always look my best when I'm single. I feel like when I'm in a relationship, I'm always like stressed and I start to like lose weight and just miserable all the time because the person is just being a dickhead. So I personally like being single, but if I was to get into a connection with someone, it's more about their personality and their values more than where they come from. And also, like, if it is someone outside of my race, I have to think a lot harder and more futuristic, because I don't know what their upbringing is like. I don't know what their perception is of black people. And then, you know, then you got the different types of black people, like the Caribbeans and the Africans. Like, I just don't know what their perception is. I don't know what they've, like, if you date someone who's not used to being around black people, to me, that's kind of like a problem, because that person is most likely going to be prejudiced or racist in some type of way. That's kind of what the experience that I've had, because it's like, if you don't hang around people of different cultures, or you haven't hung around with them, then how do you know that you like their culture? You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like it's just good to experience, you know, travel, be around different people, so that it can broaden your mindset, and then you don't have, like, your opinion is based on experience rather than hearsay, you know? Yeah, but be with whoever you want to be with. Like I said, I'm not really, I just think that love in general is beautiful. When I see couples and they're together and they're in love and you can feel the vibration of them being happy, I'm like, yes. You know, I think it's gorgeous, just love in general. And I feel like love doesn't see color. It's an energy, it's a frequency. And love is like mutual respect. So that's what I'm saying. If you feel disrespected in your relationship in any type of way, especially if it's where you're from, then it's not a loving connection, and you shouldn't be putting up with anything or anybody just because you want to be with someone. Like, I always say I would rather be alone than be in bad company. So maybe that's why I'm alone, because I am my own best company, you know? And it's by choice, because like I said, I got guys that want to be with me, want to marry me. I had this one guy that's been like on me for years, and I'm just like, ugh, the mentality is just not there for me, you know? Yeah. But anyway, do what makes you happy, people. But like I said, is it easier dating outside of your race? Not necessarily, because I feel like you have to deal with other dynamics that you wouldn't have to deal with if you was dating somebody in your race. There's a lot of other factors that you have to consider. Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to. Bye.